What if I told you that this symbol was never about a literal sun dying on it and then resurrecting 3 days later? Part 2. But in fact was always about the literal Son of God, that one, dying and resurrecting on the cross of the literal solstices and equinoxes every year. At the top we have a picture of the sun creating a cross as it's going through the 4 cardinal points of the Zodiac wheel in Aries, in Cancer, in Libra, and in Capricorn. Everybody can see this cross. It is undeniable. Beginning in Aries, the top of the cross is going through Cancer, the side of the cross is going through Libra, and the bottom of the cross is going through Capricorn. There's another picture of the sun and its path and its ecliptic, beginning in Aries, going all the way up to the Tropic of Cancer here, down through Libra here, passing through the equator, going down to the bottom of the Tropic of Capricorn here, and then back up to the equator to go through Aries. As the sun is moving through its ecliptic path, it always creates this infinity symbol. Here in the middle point, it begins in Aries. When it goes up to Cancer, we have the summer solstice, and when it goes all the way down into the Tropic of Capricorn, we have the winter solstice. This is another display of the sun creating that infinity symbol on a true Earth map as it is going up to the Tropic of Cancer here, and then all the way up to the Tropic of Capricorn there. Here we can see there is no difference between these two symbols. There are 4 cardinal points creating a cross symbol at Aries, at Cancer, at Libra, and Capricorn, and again on the cross on the bottom, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Here's a verse from the book of Enoch describing the sun passing through its different gates, and they showed me this calculation of the sun's movement and the gates by which he goes in and goes out. For these are the great gates which God created to be an annual horror log. I point that out to show you that when the sun is passing through its different gates, it stops and doesn't move for 3 days at a time, especially at the equinoxes and solstices. So every single time that it sets and does not move from that rising point for 3 days. This is why they would metaphorically say that the sun died and rose again 3 days later, because when it rose again 3 days later, it would rise through a different gate, a different rising point on the horizon. It wouldn't be in alignment with the same equinoctial markers that our ancestors built all around the world. Here are 6 examples of solstitial and equinoctial markers all around the world that all of our ancestors used. I recommend that you screenshot all of these and look them up yourself. We have Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Chichen Itza, Chaco Canyon, Newgrange, and the Sphinx. And on these 4 cardinal points of the cross, the sun would die and resurrect and not change positions or gates in which it rose through again for 3 days. Again, this is why the ancestors would metaphorically say that the sun dies and resurrects again 3 days later. We cannot believe something and know it simultaneously. We must doubt it to believe it. So, knowing and believing in something cannot exist at the same time. For the last 2,000 years, with Christianity reigning supreme as the #1 religion, belief has been the lesson that humanity has needed to learn. Believing in the unseen. Yes, it was important for us to learn that. But we are now transcending belief into knowing. This is why the mantra for Aquarius is I know, whereas the mantra for Pisces for the last 2,000 years is I believe. But information is pouring out now like never before. So we are transcending the mantra I believe and stepping into the mantra I know. I say all of that to say that the Son of God dying on the cross was never about somebody's actual son literally being crucified on a cross and then resurrecting 3 days later, dying for our sins so that we can believe in them and possibly go to heaven if we believe in them. But in fact, that is a literary metaphor of the literal sun dying on the cross of the solstices and equinoxes every year. This is the true, literal science of light of the actual Son of God, the light of the world, that dies and resurrects on the solstices and equinoxes for us every single year. We transcend blind belief and guilt shaming from Christian churches trying to manipulate us into donating for their causes. I'm not saying there are not good Christian pastors out there, but they play on guilt to get you to give them money while skipping out on taxes with their 501c3. Hopefully these 2 videos have demystified that spirituality for you, and you don't think anymore that you only have one opportunity to say a prayer in this lifetime for you to get to heaven. but in fact, you can create heaven on earth now by playing to your strengths and avoiding your weaknesses, by maximizing your opportunities and minimizing your difficulties, by running with your virtues and running from your vices. To fully know thyself without a shadow of a doubt, what your strengths and your weaknesses are, what your vices and your virtues are, the best way that you can maximize your opportunities and minimize your difficulties, you're going to need a natal chart reading to know exactly which sign all of the planets were in the very moment that you were born. To do so, you can book a reading by clicking the link in my bio here. At the bottom of the page on the right hand side, you will see the option for a 30-minute health consultation or natal chart reading here. We will go over everything, what all of your signs are, what your ruling planet is, what your strongest house is, how to maximize your opportunities and minimize your difficulties, and fully step into knowledge of self. It is said that knowledge of self is the beginning of wisdom. I'll see you there. Peace.